My brothers and sisters in Christ, today we celebrate the Feast of All Saints. The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. When Jesus saw the crowds, he went up the mountain, and after he had sat down, his disciples came to him. He began to teach them, saying, Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the land. Blessed are they who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be satisfied. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Blessed are the clean of heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are they who are persecuted for the sake of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when they insult you, and persecute you, and utter every kind of evil against you falsely because of me. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward will be great in heaven. The Gospel of the Lord. Today is our day. The Feast of All Saints is about often ordinary people who have done extraordinary things out of love. Consider St. Peter. He wasn't a perfect man, but he is a towering saint. Peter sank into the waters of the Sea of Galilee. He was called Satan by Jesus. He rejected the Lord 3 times in his hour of need. But Peter also had a change of heart and led the church for 30 years here on earth before offering his life for his flock, dying like his master, crucified on a cross. Only Peter died upside down. St. Paul persecuted Christians. He imprisoned them, tortured them, even had them killed. But after his conversion, he became the greatest missionary of his time, walking an estimated 10,000 miles on foot, while spreading the gospel throughout the known world. In that time, he was beaten, imprisoned, abandoned, and left for dead. Paul fought the good fight. He ran the race to the finish. He kept the faith. St. Francis of Assisi was never ordained a priest. He didn't feel worthy. Yet imperfect people like myself carry Christ's priesthood forward. Before he entered religious life, Francis literally stripped himself bare before his bishop in public, leaving behind his family's fortune to become an instrument of God's peace, eventually rebuilding the spirit of the Church. Don't we need another St. Francis today? Teresa of Calcutta, a modern-day saint, learned the gospel at face value from her parents, who literally made Teresa and her siblings go out into the streets, inviting the poor, the crippled, the nobodies to their dinner table. Imagine those table conversations. She spent the rest of her life teaching the world how to love and live like the poorest on earth. These men and women changed the world through acts of extraordinary love, and rightly they are revered as saints. But most of the saints were ordinary people like us who lived ordinary lives. St. Conrad was a doorman. For 40 years he stood and welcomed pilgrims to a Marian shrine in Germany. St. Zita was a cook. St. André Bessette cut people's hair for a nickel apiece. There's nothing extraordinary about that. But 4,000 haircuts later, he built a small shrine to St. Joseph, which over the years was transformed into a major cathedral. Other saints were farmers, maids, soldiers, and soccer players. There's nothing extraordinary about holding a door, cooking a meal, or kicking a soccer ball. So what made them saints? They had the same heart as Saints Paul, Francis, and Teresa, choosing to do ordinary tasks with extraordinary love, living out that great prayer of St. Francis. We've heard it many times, but maybe a word will strike you differently today. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. Bring the love of God wherever you go. You may not be remembered as a spiritual titan, but you will become an ordinary saint.